I'm throwing a fit. Some reason YouTube is not liking my shit. Share to group. Let me try this. See if we can get anybody on here. Oh. This is slightly frustrating because I used to have a good thing. Try again later. I don't know, man. Bums me out. Waiting. We're a minute 18 in. I don't like to give up on stuff. I don't like quitting. But I'm about ready to throw a fit. Just in the shop, trying to chat with my friends. Almost 2 minutes in and nobody's on here yet. Why does YouTube hate me? Oh, I got one person. We're almost 2 minutes in. I got one person. It's probably the same person. Just wanting to frickin' chat with some people. Won't let me go live on frickin' Facebook anymore on our private group page. Bullshit. Bullshit. Now I got two people. Somebody comment. What's up? Heck yeah. Hopefully this will work. I'm just out in the shop, just trying to talk to my friends. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I've been trying to go live for like 20 minutes on here. And at one point, I had like 7 people on here right away, but I couldn't see any comments. And I'm just bored out here in my shop. Been working on a Chevelle, trying to get the. I got a wiring job coming in tomorrow, so I was trying to get the shop kind of cleaned up, so my other bay's open, so I can get my friend Tom's. You guys probably know Tom Gray. Try to get his car in here. I'm hoping. Shoot. Next weekend, I'm taking the intake up to Greg's. We're gonna weld the intake rails and bungs in the intake for the injectors, and then excuse me, and then I will be. Once that's done, I'll be able to put the intake back on it. I still need a measure for push rods, and then the other day when I was gonna put the rocker arms on it and start measuring for push rods, and one of my intake rocker arm, right where the adjuster is down to the bearing, it has like a hairline crack in it. So I end up ordering a couple new intake rocker arms. I had bad luck with this deal when I first got it with rocker arms. Most of the time it was the exhaust rocker arm, um, which are the most common to break because they're trying to open under cylinder pressure or whatever. But I hadn't had any problem with my intake ones until now. So I wanted to have one spare one and one, and then I'll replace the one that's cracked. But so I'll probably put 2 new ones on, um, and then take the good old one off and keep it as a spare. But aside from that, once that's done, it's getting close, man. Oh shoot, I don't know. I'd have to look. Um, they with the nitrous cam, it, it was pretty rowdy on the valve springs. I was having a lot of trouble actually with. I broke this thing ran for 2 years basically, or 2 seasons, and I wasn't able to race it a whole lot. I was really busy and stuff. But I broke the rocker arm 3 different times. Matter of fact, the last race that I went to, I broke a rocker arm and I lost a push rod. Um, Matter of fact, that was, I don't know if you've seen, but I was racing Nate down there at Medford, and he was racing in his Z car, and I was racing him in this. And it had just rained, and me and him decided to go for it anyway. And pretty fun. Probably the one and only time that I got the chance to beat Nate. Uh, but I'll take it when I can. So that's my. I'll avoid him now, and I'll call it 1-0 on my race versus Nate. All kidding aside, so that pass, I broke a rocker arm and lost a push rod, or the tip of push rod. Um, and then, so that was when I decided to tear this thing apart and do what I've done now. But it's going in the right direction. I feel like I should be able to have it fired up. Once that's done, I'll have to get the front end back on the car. We're going to make it to where the front end comes on and off really easy. Yeah, yep, exactly. I'm going to make it where I can take the front end on and off really easy. So I won't be taking it off between rounds or anything like that. But say I'm here servicing the car, I want to be able to take the front end off just to make it easier to get around the motor and change the plugs and all that stuff. I have a feeling that I'll probably have to take the hot side off of the car to change plugs or anything like that, just for the fact that the exhaust is going to kind of go, well, here, I can show you guys what I'm talking about. So the exhaust, the hot side, is going to come out right there, and it'll come down like right here. So it'll be right in the way of any sort of plug changing. So once I get the front end mounted and all that stuff, I can take it up, and hopefully Greg will have a chance to. We got to make a fuel cell, which will be one of the biggest things. And then the hot side. Flip this back around. Then the hot side, we'll have to get it done, and then in the back, I have a box that we're gonna put a transmission cooler in. And no, this will be I'll be running on M1 on alcohol. So I have a box in the trunk. There a water box in the trunk that will have a transmission cooler in it that we'll be able to put ice on. It makes it really nice for cooling the transmission off. Eventually, I'm going to try to get some sort of pump or way to circulate the transmission fluid through the transmission and then through that box while the car's not running, like some sort of way to cool that off. But we've been running that transmission cooler for a long time in Seth's car, and it works pretty good. Actually, with this transmission, I got this transmission from Seth, and it was in the Nova. We never really did have any issues with it being in his car, especially for a Power Glide and a big tire car that made big power. This is a pretty good transmission. And then our transmission guy took it apart and freshened it up for me when I bought it from Seth. So yeah, that's the transmission end of it. But I got all the transmission lines and all that stuff plumbed back to a bulkhead in the firewall in the back. So once, like I said, once I get the front end on it, I can take it up there. We can do the hot side, do all the fabrication stuff that needs to be done still. Like the throttle pedal is one thing, fuel cell, hot side, the wastegates, but it's all really simple stuff. and then all I'll have to do is plumb the fuel, and then we could fire it up at least. And then I won't be running a radiator in this thing. I'll be running, it's a water box radiator. I guess I can show you guys that too. Just start out on the dyno. More than likely, I will get it on the dyno. I want to take it to the dyno just to make it happy or whatever. I had a couple weeks ago, I had Jason, the guy that helps me out with Link, the Link ECU stuff. He remoted in a few Sundays ago and built a tune-up in the car to be able to fire it up. And then yes, I would like to get it to the dyno and try to just try to get it all happy. I'm not really looking for big numbers. This thing isn't. It sounds stupid, but I'm not building it to make all the horsepower in the world. I'm building it to live. I'm hoping the motor will live a while. And I'm only shooting for like 1600 horsepower. I feel like that'll get it done in a small tire street race, no prep kind of application. And with this program, I feel like 15 to 20 pounds of boost, I'm going to get to that goal. So, and then just try to help the suspension around it, make it work or whatever, which will be a learning process. I've never had this kind of power. I feel like on a 400 shot, with both systems on with this thing before was probably, I would say in the 1300 wheel horsepower range, probably, maybe. I mean, maybe it made 950 with like the base tune-up. It was like a 200 shot. It made 950 to the tire, and I was having some fueling problems where I didn't really feel like I wanted to lean on it any harder. But yeah, overall, it's going to be a learning curve as far as that goes. Yeah, I feel like it is. I'm going to be kind of fighting a few things. This motor isn't O-ringed. It's not receiver grooved, so I'm going to be limited to how much boost I can put to it. Also, it's just not an ideal boosted application. This is my nitrous motor. All I did is change the cam in it. It still has a fair amount of compression. So I'm gonna have to be really conservative as far as like timing and stuff goes. But here, I'll show you guys what I'm back here. Oops. So that's my radiator basically. And it has a water pump in it. And then I'll run lines up to the front there. And if we need to, we'll be able to cool that off with some ice too. Eventually I'd like to put like a little Honda radiator or something. I'm gonna put this up here. Right here, my arm's falling asleep. Be able to put like a little Honda radiator or something in it that where I can cool it off with a little radiator too, so I can drive it on the street a little bit more. I won't be like driving any distances, but it'd be cool to be able to like drive it around Graffiti and all that stuff, all those big cruises and stuff we have in town. Either way, I'm going to drive it anyway. So, but it would be nice to have a way to cool it down just in case I get stuck in some sort of traffic. It isn't the end of the world to sit there for a few minutes. But I kind of got off on a wrap there, but yeah, I feel like M1, we're pretty familiar with the fuel with CES program, and shoot, we're about 40 pounds of boost with CES car, and I'm definitely not going to be anywhere near that. But turbo, his is a ProCharge program, and so I'm hoping with the turbos and stuff, this will be my first turbo application that I've ever messed with. I've never driven a turbo car. I've never tuned a turbo car. I've never nothing. I mean, so this is going to be kind of hit the ground running kind of deal. I feel like I feel like we'll be able to get it figured out. I have a decent amount of friends that got a handle on some turbo stuff. So hopefully we'll be able to kind of go from there, and try to get, try to at least, like I said, hit the ground running. I'd really like to see how it runs right off the bat. The first time I make a hit in this car, love it down traction. Heck yeah, that's what I hope. I know. That's what I've been told. The turbo cars just don't stop pulling, and I'm pretty excited about that. And that's one of the reasons why I went turboed. My buddy Kelly Chambers, a lot of people know him. He's the one that actually helped me get started with the turbo program. Him and his foundation basically hooked me up with the turbos. They were like, hey, listen, me and Kelly been racing together for a few years now, and he knew that I couldn't just afford to throw everything at it at once. And that's why it's taken me 3 years to build this car, guys, because not because I couldn't do it in a year or 6 months or 8 months. It literally, I just couldn't afford it. I couldn't afford to throw 15 grand at this and 20 grand at this. And I just can't do it. So I had to do it in these steps, and without the support of my buddies, Greg, first off, man, he built this whole chassis for me. And, me and him, I'd take the car up there on a Friday after work, roll it into the shop. We'd work freaking all night Friday. We'd wake up early, go grab some breakfast, and we'd be back at it until midnight, 1 o'clock the next day. Then we'd drink whiskey on his couch until we couldn't freaking talk. Then we wake up the next day, usually hungover. We work for a few hours. I'd load the car back up and drive 2.5 hours back home. That was our process of building a chassis. And but without him doing that for me, I wouldn't have had this chassis. I couldn't afford it. I mean, I paid for the materials, and he's allowed me to just trade out labor and stuff with him as far as like wiring and stuff like that. So I've wired a few things for him, couple cars, couple trucks, stuff like that. And as far as that goes, I'll wire anything he ever needs me to wire, because I just literally, I wouldn't be able to afford to I wouldn't be able to afford to do it. Oh, the whiskey's always worth it. If you don't go to Greg's house without having some whiskey. But like I said, without him, I wouldn't have been able to build this chassis or this car without his help and knowledge. Even like, I wish I would have been able to have the patience and let him help me with the tin work and stuff like that. The tin work would have turned out quite a bit better, I'm sure. Actually, I know for a fact it would have been better with if Greg did the tin work. But listen, I I just felt like I was already overstepping my boundaries with how much he helped me with the chassis and stuff like that. And he's going to continue to help me with like the fuel cell and all that stuff. So first off, thank you to Greg. He's a badass. They're they're a good group. Him and his brother, both Shane, all those guys have been really great to me. They're all great friends. But and then Kelly, like I said, Kelly hooked me up. He got me started with the turbos, and he's always been a his name speaks for itself. Crazy Kelly with a K. And but he's a crazy dude, and he's always great to race with. And so if you guys haven't already, go check out My Mallory May. I think it's mymallorymallory.org. I think it might be .com, but you'll be able to get on there, kind of check out what he's done with the foundation. We do a lot of racing with him and the foundation, and it's always a great time. No prep, kind of street race style racing. And it's always for a good cause. But so, anyways, he kind of helped me with that. We got going on that, and I've just been kind of nickel and diamond this thing to death since for 3 years now. And now I'm down to just a few things, and it's been it's been an uphill battle. I got 2 kids, I got a wife, I got a day-to-day job. I really am excited about uh, continue to like create content and maybe one day just be able to do this more and more and just continue to be able to, I want to race full time. I want to be able to go racing every weekend if I need to. I want to be able to, go back east and race at Dig or Die and some of these races back east. I want to race the War in the Woods. There's a bunch of races back east that I'd really like to go to. Win or lose, man. I just want to go have a good time, make good content, and learn from it. You learn from all the fast guys, and I don't feel like I'll be completely outgunned. I feel like I'll have a decent car, and it's a cool car. It's a '70 Chevelle, man, and it's my high school car. I've driven this car ever since it had a stock 350 in it, all the way to what it is now, and so I'm super pumped. This car means a lot to me, and I've been putting in a lot of work. Thanks to my wife and my boys for allowing me to do this as much as I have been. All of above would love to chat. Heck yeah, I mean, those races are the best of the best are there as far as like our world, like street racing, no prep, back of the track stuff is my jam. Um, I hope I can hit the ground running with this thing. The car should be set up much better. We moved the motor back from the factory engine location. It's moved back like 12 inches and it's up. So I'm hoping everything moved up and back. Hopefully this car, I had to pack 150 pounds or more in the trunk of this car before. And then I had everything that I possibly could get behind me, like my nitrous bottles, batteries, everything that I could. And then I would also pack an extra 150 pounds in this car to get it to 50/50. And it just was never, with a nitrous program and how heavy the car is, a car with 3,700 pounds with that 150 pounds in it with me in it. And it never was happy. I was never able to like smack the tire and get the chassis to work and do all that stuff. It would always wad the tire. No matter how much air pressure I put in the tire, it'd wad the tire and spin, or it unloaded. It was just a bastard of a setup. So when we started doing this, I was like, I want to move the driver location as far back as we can. I want to move the motor back. I want to move the motor up so we can get the CG up as high as we can, you know. And I think a perfect world, I'm no chassis guy, but I feel like your center of gravity or your crank location is normally 12 and a half inches. This thing at ride height, that's 16 and a half inches off the ground. So I don't know if I'm hoping I didn't kick myself in the ass by doing that. I'm hoping it's not like a wheelie monster or anything like that. When it comes into power, I don't really want it to drive underneath itself, but I just wanted to build it specifically for street racing, no prep racing, where I can pretty much go anywhere and be able to get the power that I have manageably to the ground. So it's I've mentioned before in videos and stuff how passionate I am about racing and this car and everything. It's just a huge goal of mine to be able to race and compete with some of the best out there. And like I said, some of it's a little bit of a pipe dream. Like I said, I still have a day-to-day job, but I'd be all about hopping in my rig Friday after work and driving 20 hours to go to a race, hop back in the rig and come home, and try to make it to work on Monday. I mean, that'd be my jam. That's kind of what I want to do. So like I said, my channel, I'm hoping the channel will grow. Hopefully we'll be able to get some good content out there. I've ordered some new cameras, and I want, excuse me, I'm going to order some new cameras. I have not ordered cameras yet. I want to order some new cameras. I want to get a couple. I'd like to have one of those GoPro 360s. And then I feel like and you guys could tell me if any different, but I feel like the in cab angles are awesome. All the channels that I follow like Street Race Channel, the Old Man's Garage, all those guys that I follow. I pretty much all I do is watch YouTube, but the in cab views where you can study what they're doing as a driver and like you can see everything, how it all works and stuff is just my jam. I don't know why, but I've always thought that, man, that looks cool. You know, I really like the in-cab stuff. So I'm going to get a couple cameras for that. I want a camera or two on the outside of the car, and then hopefully I can get some help from some people locally that want to go out and do some testing and racing. And I'm going to try to test my ass off right off the bat, but we'll just see. We'll see how it works out. Oh man. I kind of rattled on there for a minute. So if you guys have any more questions or whatever, let me know. I'm just out here tonight. I've been trying to go live for like 20 minutes before I got this one to work, but I used to go live quite a bit on I have a page on Facebook, Douglas County Chip Seal Junkies, just a group of us that street race together and stuff. I used to go live on there all the time, but it don't allow me to go live anymore. So I wanted to, not only that, this will be better for me anyway. Software and try to learn how to use it. Yeah, me too. I mean, I use Power Directory 365. And it's okay. I'm happy with it. It does okay for what I'm doing now, but I'd really like to try some new stuff. I'm not completely sold on that setup, and I'm doing 100% right now. I'm doing 100% of my filming off of my cell phone, my Galaxy 21, and I'd really like to step that stuff up. The wind is getting it on here. I keep thinking the roof's gonna blow off my shop. But so yeah, that's kind of, I got off topic there again, but I wanted to go live anyways, and I need more community watchtowers anyway. I figure if I can get a group of people that want to jump on here once a week or once every 2 weeks, we can go live, maybe kind of talk over what we got going on. I'm going to continue to make videos, obviously, but like wiring the car, I just couldn't get into video and that stuff. It's just kind of, it's boring. There's no way to, there's no way to like make good content out of wiring. I don't think there's some people that do that, like can sit at a table and like explain, like Devin Vanderhoof. He's really good at that, but that's not really what I want this channel to be about. I want this channel to be about my journey and my friends, you know, my friend's journey or whatever. And there's no there's no media around here. I feel like there's a couple channels in Oregon that are pretty decent. I follow all of them that I can, and I enjoy all the channels that are around here. But like as far as like going to a race and filming it, or like day to day, like what I'm trying to do, there isn't any channels like that. I'm not really trying to copy anybody. Obviously, I look up to like the Old Man's Garage and Street Race Channel Kid, and you know, Billy the Kid, and all those. I like watching them. They're great, and I get a lot of ideas from them. But I'm trying to go my own direction. You know what I mean? So they're similar. It's similar content. We're all trying to race. So I'm not trying to, you know, I'm not going to go to a race and like film the whole race if I'm racing. I just can't do it. You know, I won't, I'll try to do as much as I can as far as like what my friends and what I'm doing. Obviously, it's going to get busy. I'm going to be driving a car and tuning a car and trying to video and you know, recap every round that I go. Hopefully I'll be able to go a few rounds, but that's kind of my goal. Is to just keep chugging away at this YouTube. But um, yeah, I just need more watch hours. So all these little videos that I've been making haven't really been just completely taken off, which is fine. I don't expect them to, but um, I'm at like 1170 some subscribers, and I'm still a ways away from. I accidentally messed up and deleted a couple videos, uh, and shut up my crap. Yeah, exactly. That's how I am. I mean, I don't mind showing what I'm doing, but like the wiring stuff, I just couldn't get into it because it's such a I'm thinking the whole time, there's like so much to the wiring, especially in this car. And I've only ever wired in one other Link ECU. And so I had to really like kind of just put my head down and work to get it done right. So um I didn't want to film it. It was boring anyway. Uh but like all the other content, like me going up to Greg's and doing the intake and us chopping up and doing all that stuff up there should make good content. It always does. Um, so I'm gonna film that. I'm gonna film. We're taking my dad's transmission up to Don Klein up in Albany. He's gonna go back through my dad's transmission. We've been having an issue with it rolling through the trans brake a little bit when he tries to put it on the trans brake. So, and that's another car that we're gonna eventually be able to make some content with. It's a really nice car, and it has that 496 that I built. Me and him did in it, but yeah, it's just what I'm trying to do is just continue to work towards letting everybody know kind of what we got going on as far as like the West Coast. Like I said, in Oregon there isn't. There's a few channels, but like I said, what I'm trying to do is I feel like there's nobody around here that's doing that, and it's kind of a challenging deal. You got to stay motivated. Um, I really like the analytics of the whole deal, like as far as like looking at the data inside the YouTube and all that stuff. It's really exciting. But hopefully I'll be able to continue to just make the time to keep going on this stuff. Here, I'll show you guys. I'm gonna flip the camera around. Show you guys the inside of the car. Tired of looking at me probably, but some of this stuff still needs tied up. I have the ECU unplugged because I was welding on the chassis earlier. So got all that done. Yesterday I got the shifter cable in the car and all hooked up. I got the parachute release handle all put in, and the cable all mounted all the way to the back. This seat is not mounted yet. I just got it setting in here. None of this stuff this is all just kind of thrown in here, but all my sensors, like as far as like the map sensor and the intake air temp sensor, we got TPS sensor. All my sensors are wired. I have the bulkhead there for the fuel injectors, and then I just have a Holley sub harness that will go out here to the injectors. I still gotta get a TPS. I still gotta get a TPS and all that stuff, and then obviously this is just a starter to the neutral safety switch. So these wires here go down to my switch panel, and then that goes out to the starter, which I have not got terminated or even bolted on the car yet. Matter of fact, my starter looks like it's been sitting in the bottom of the ocean for like 10 years. It was in the trunk of my little work car, my little work commuter car. And I'll get this set back up. And I guess there was some moisture in the trunk of that car because it just is completely corroded looking. So hopefully I can clean it up. It's a fairly new starter. I haven't had that starter for very long, so hopefully I can get it straightened out where it'll work again, because I don't want to have to spend another $300 on a starter right now, but I'll cross that road when it comes to it. Yeah, I do. I moved the seat back basically as far as I could. We're gonna move it back even further, but it just the way it's just basically as far back as we could get it without it looking too stupid. I didn't want to be like in the back of the car, which it is. I mean, I'm behind the pillar where the door pillar is. But I'm hoping, like I said, I'm hoping this car is like 50%, 50-50 with no weight in the trunk. Before, like I said, the front of the car was so heavy that I had to take a large amount of weight to get rear percentage. And in my opinion, yes, I did, but I had a lot of help. I was explaining earlier, my buddy Greg built the chassis for me, but and I've had help throughout the way with some things. But yes, I did all the tin work, and I did all the wiring. I'm done all the plumbing and all that stuff. I've done myself, but so yeah. Anyways, the car was so heavy before, we had to put so much weight in the rear of the car to get the ballast where we wanted it. And like I was getting ready to say is, in my opinion, a car needs to be heavy on the rear. The way that I would set a 4-link up in a car, you want to try to get as much rear weight as you can. Just like, for example, you look at, I think Joey Hinkle, he just posted a picture today of his car, and it's like 46% or something like that on the rear or something like that. And that's why he puts that big weight bar, the butt hurt bar on his car, to get that rear percentage. And I bet you with that weight being way out there, he gets his car from wherever it was at, and don't mark my word, but if it was 46% on the nose or on the rear of the car, then I bet you he gets it all the way to 58 or close to 60% on the rear of the car with that weight that far away above. So with me moving the motor back and up, and then moving the driver's location back, hopefully, even if I do have to pack some ballast, that at 100 pounds, I'm at 60% or 58% rear weight instead of, having to pack 150 pounds just to get to 50-50. So, like I said, that's all kind of in my head. But we're just going to keep plugging away at this thing. We're getting closer and closer. I feel like a realistic time for this thing, just because of my budget and a few other little odds and ends that I still need to get. I feel like this thing in the middle of March will be maybe getting it tested, maybe try to get it on the dyno. It makes a noise, but it's all just kind of a do as you can do, as I can do, as I can afford it, man. Like I said, I'm no rich guy. That's why I have to do all this myself. I'm not saying that like I need a whole bunch of, I'm not trying to be petty or nothing. But if I could afford to pay somebody to do this stuff, I probably would, because the stuff that then I could focus on the stuff that I enjoy or that I feel like I'm decent at, which is like the power management part and all that stuff. I feel like I have a reasonable handle on it. Like I mentioned before, this is my first turbo car, so it might take me a little bit to get used to how much more tunability I have, as far as like be able to make a timing ramp and or a boost ramp and a timing ramp, or if I even need a timing ramp. Hell, I don't even know. I don't know what. I'm not a turbo guy, you know what I mean? So, um, and I'm going to be limited in boost. The car is only going to be able to, I might only. Yeah, probably sound that for sure. But the passion that drive you to achieve it. Yes, sir. I I tell you what, I have a lot of passion for this hobby. But so um, yeah, like I said, it's gonna be a challenge at first to learn the turbo stuff and like what it wants and what it likes, and uh, hopefully I'm not fighting like stupid stuff. Like I'm hoping the converter's close. Uh, and if it's not, I got a reasonable setup on a converter where I can just send it off really quick, and it'll only be down a couple weeks, you know. And then I mentioned before, excuse me, I mentioned before, I want to build an LS like a 5.3 or something, not nothing fancy, but something that if I hurt the 546 that's in the car right now, if I hurt it, that I have a backup plan, that I have a way to change back and forth between my big block and an LS or whatever, similar to what like uh, Ryan Mitchell does. I kind of copied him on that deal. Um, but it's a great idea. I mean, you can do LS stuff for cheap, and I feel like all I have to do is get it set up to where I can pull the motor out, um, change the converter, put the LS in it. You know, it'll have its own motor plate and all that stuff. And then I'll have to learn all that stuff. I don't know nothing about LS stuff, but and then hopefully just be able to like change a tune up, have a tune up saved for the LS stuff, and boom, boom, just have it to where you can switch it over really quick. But thanks, yeah, man. I like I said, I've been wanting to do like an update like this because I've been, excuse me, slacking on the darn um, on the videos just because the wiring took forever. You know, I've got almost a month into the wiring, but the rest of it went pretty quick because it was all material that, you keep moving forward, and and the sheet metal went in quick, all the stuff but wiring just seemed like it took a while. So anyways, it looks like I've been on here for 40 minutes. I don't want to drop any more people. Uh, Thanks, Russ. Uh, Hopefully we'll get to see you back out at it here pretty soon again on the streets, Russ. I haven't seen or heard from you in a while, man. But anyways, that's kind of all we got going on as far as this goes. I'll do a video next weekend of doing the intake and all that stuff. And I'll just keep plugging away. I don't have any timeline yet exactly when this thing's going to be, but I think it'd be safe to say that the middle of March, first part of March, I'd like to be able to start testing and maybe get it on the dyno. Like I said, I'm not trying to make any like big record numbers or anything as far as like making big power. I feel like 20 pounds of boost. I feel like I'm going to be in the ballpark where I want to be, that 1600 wheel horsepower range. And I could be wrong. I'm just kind of going off of what a friend of mine's car uh, made, and then I just want to make it happy and safe there. This thing's got a lot of compression. It's so I'm not gonna try to make 35, 40 pounds of boost with this thing. It's just not gonna work. It also just has the thicker Cometic head gaskets in it. It's got a turbo camshaft ground especially ground for what I'm trying to do. I am gonna have it try to bleed. They set it up to bleed a little bit of cranking compression. So hopefully I can make it live for a while. And with it being on alcohol, I'll be a little conservative on timing and all that stuff. and hopefully just be able to muscle through some of that stuff. Heck yeah. The streets are always open, Russ. But yeah, so that's kind of my goal. And then the car's got a power glide in it. Um, it's got a 158 first gear, and it's got a Ford 9-inch 430 rear gear. I'll be running a 29.5 10.5 non-W at first, and then I'll probably get it tested on a 28 10.5. But most of the time, most of the stuff locally around here, a 29.5 is going to fit most of the rules. So I'll probably spend most of my time on that tire. And then, if it makes sense to switch it over to a 28, then I'll do that as far as like traveling or anything like that. And the car will fit. Right now it's sitting on a 32 or 33. It might be a 33 1650, I think. So it will fit a big tire. I have no intentions on running a big tire. I'm not a big tire. They're a lot of work. They're a lot harder than people think. As far as like making a big tire work, you gotta way harder than people think. They shake, they're floppy, they're just, they're nasty tires to make work. So I don't really feel like beating my car to death, trying to get the tire happy. So, and I've always been a small tire guy. I feel like it's cheaper. I mean, cheaper to do small tire stuff, but either way you look at it, that's what I'm gonna spend most of my time on. If it makes sense to be on a big tire, like if there's a street race or a race that I really want to go to, that and they don't allow me to run on a small tire or something stupid, I can't really think of anything that would be in that situation. Then maybe I might try to put a smaller, bigger tire on it. Maybe we used to run a 32 1450W on Sescar. Thanks, Dad. And that was a pretty good tire. We actually ran that for years, right up until this last year, I think, is when we switched. And now Sescar's got like a 33 16.5 on it, I do believe. But yep, that's kind of all we got cooking as far as that stuff goes. I'll go and flip the camera around one more time, kind of walk around. I'm sure that most of the people that are following this so far or have been watching are people that have seen the car already or have seen videos. But if you haven't already, get on there and hit that subscribe button, that like button, and we're going to keep pushing this YouTube stuff. I really enjoy doing it. It's a lot of fun. Like I said, I like the analytics of it, all the data and all that stuff that you get to watch and see, all that stuff is fun to do. So anyways, it'll take me a little while to get comfortable talking and stuff like that. I'm just, Greg just figured out how to comment. That ain't good, dude. That ain't good. I'm surprised you haven't got on here already and tried hackling me a little bit. I've been trying. It took me literally, I think, 5 tries to get this live to work. I had it on a setting and it wouldn't work. I figured you would have to log out of one of your Feet Finder accounts or your OnlyFans or whatever. Sometimes you get on there too many times and it won't allow you to do multiple things at once. Bad. Anyways, I was talking about you earlier about how much you helped me. Hopefully you were on here and got to see that, so you don't think I'm that much of a jackass that I didn't appreciate all your work on this thing. But anyways, yeah, it took me 5 tries to get this deal figured out. Thanks, Bill. It don't allow me to go live on YouTube anymore on our group page, on the DC Chip Seal page. So hopefully I'll be able to go live on here every so often, and try to get all the people that used to watch on the DC page onto here. It'll also help my public watch hours quite a bit. That's the only thing I've gotten. Like I said earlier, 1,100 and some odd subscribers, 1,175 or 7 or something. I don't remember exactly. I looked this morning, but I'm lacking on the public watch hours, so my videos haven't like really popped off yet. I'm waiting for that big pop off. You feel me? But anyways, long story short, if we can start doing like we did on the Facebook page every once in a while, that's pretty fun. Getting on here and answering questions or whatever. Don't play it modest, bad. Oh wow. Whatever, dude. Anyways, yeah, I'll kind of show you guys one more time the hot rod. I got that fancy Amazon dome light up there. I got my shifter cable in last night. I got some of that hasn't been tied up. Like this, all this stuff here is all loose still. I haven't. It needs cut loose and retied, but like all this over here is tied up all nice. That right there will charge the Dragy. And you guys might know, if you're familiar with the Dragy, does that thing have to be level? I was thinking about that today. I got it. It's kind of on an angle of my dash. I'm wondering if that thing has to be level or not. I haven't even really got to play with the Dragy in my own car yet. I did get to mess with it once, but I only have most of the data on that Dragy is out of somebody else's car. And then that there is a tune port that goes right to the ECU. You got map sensor, intake air temp sensor. That plugs right into the TPS. And then the water temp sensor, that'll end up going to the front of the intake if I can't tap that to port there. And these are the O2 sensor lambdas sensors. Then that harness there goes to the drive shaft sensor. And that is the, oops, that was way close. That goes to the, that's the boost controller. Anyways, oh, I got a 2004 wagon. No, that's understandable. It's understandable, but did you get your man cave done, Greg? Currently building me an apartment for next winter. Probably next summer, bud. I'll live up there a bunch. We'll be wearing out Shelburne, bud. Wiring, honestly, that's probably something that the wiring end of it is something that I understand probably the most. I'm getting better every car. A lot of people have let me wire their cars, in trade. I do charge. I don't do it. It's kind of my side hustle, I guess, is to wire cars or whatever. But this car's got a lot of wiring in it. Every sensor, like I said, this welded a stud on the back of the car earlier today, so I unplugged the wiring harness so I don't have any accidental, I don't want to burn up the ECU, but yeah, there's lots of wires in this thing. and everything is like ground activated. So it's a little bit different to get used to. As far as like just naturally wiring stuff, is you got to remember that a lot of stuff is triggered ground off of a ground, which is faster and cleaner. Electricity has a travel speed, which it's all milliseconds and all that stuff, all that crazy stuff that I'm not smart enough to understand. But a good clean ground on and off is a lot faster when you're trying to control like a nitrous solenoid or a boost controller or anything that you're triggering with a negative pulse. Ground is much cleaner and faster. Anyways, I've been on here 55 minutes, guys. I'll probably hop off of here, get back to work on getting some more work done on this car. Like I said, tomorrow I got a side job coming in, so I'm gonna I'll get that deal wrapped up, and hopefully have some more hot rod money after I'm done wiring that car. And then, yep, next weekend we'll be up at Greg's, and we'll make sure to video all that stuff. And hopefully you guys enjoyed this live video, and we will see you guys later. We'll be looking forward to your next stream. Cool. Yeah, like I said, I'll try to do this every so often. I enjoyed doing it when I had it just on the Facebook, even just the group. I think we have 700 and some. It's a private page, but we have like 700 some people on that page, and it was always fun because I got on here and it's usually just me, but just answer some questions and stuff. I like to chat. I live kind of away from everybody, so none of my friends get to come hang out with me. So it's fun to get on and chat with everybody. But anyways, we'll chat with you guys later.